Hello everybody, it's Catchy Cammy, and today I'm doing a tier list video of from my favorite to least favorite Total War games. There's gonna be some I haven't played before. For those, they're gonna go in F tier because I can't give an opinion on them, and these are just my opinions. So we can all agree or disagree on that. The first one on the list is Attila. I'm gonna stick Attila on B tier, and this is why. The things I like about Attila is he has a pretty big map, which I'm a fan of that. I like Total Wars with big maps. The graphics are pretty good, though I will say compared to the other Total Wars, the lighting is a lot darker. The campaign is fun, no matter what faction you play, in my opinion. However, some of my dislikes, which I can only really think of one dislike, is the game can be very punishing for new players, which might discourage some people from playing the game. So if you ever play any Total War, I wouldn't recommend Attila be your first Total War. Um, and I'm not new to the Total War game, so I did an episode on, I believe, the Western Roman Empire, and I suffered severely in those episodes. The next on the list is Empire Total War. I'm gonna put this at C tier. I deeply want to put it at A tier because it's probably my second to third favorite Total War. However, I have a few issues with it, but I'm gonna start with the things I like about it. I like the big map, the big campaign, because it stretches from Europe to Africa to India to North America and South America. That's, like I said, that's a big thing I'm a very big fan of. Um, I'm also a big fan of the period. If you are into, I think it's closely around the, if I'm correct, the 7 Years War, and then also like the American Revolution and the 1700s. If you're interested in that kind of time period, that's it's definitely a Total War for you. The gameplay is easy, whether it's campaign or single player or multiplayer. Though I would say, and I didn't say this about Attila, but I will say this about both Empire and Attila, they do deeply kind of lack a multiplayer community. They have some multiplayer people who play multiplayer, but it's not like as common as some other Total Wars. I will say my issues with the game is the AI can be not so great, and another issue I have with this is the quality of the models. So unlike Attila, it kind of looks like an Empire. They basically copy and pasted the same face and same body as every single man, and then just put them in different colored uniforms. And I can even post a picture of what I mean by that. Now, the next one I put up here, and this is going to be a pretty unpopular opinion amongst people who are already into Total War, and I already put it up here in D tier, which is Medieval Total War 2. I put Medieval Total War uh, and Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 1 and Total War Shogun, because I haven't played those games, so I can't have an opinion on them. But I have played Medieval 2 a little bit, not a lot, but my biggest issues about this is it's just too old a game for me to enjoy. The lack of good graphics, and the only really good thing I can say about it is the mechanics of the game are very simple mechanics. Next one on this list is Napoleon Total War, which a lot of people aren't going to agree with this one, but for me it's going to have to go S tier. I do have problems with it, but the good things about it is I like the graphics, and it's not like it basically what they did in Empire they improved on in Napoleon. So all the men don't look like they're copy and pasted with the same or different colored uniforms. The gameplay is fun. There's a decent amount of people playing multiplayer, and I guess the only bad things I can really say about it is it's a smaller map, mainly focusing on just Europe, which makes a lot of sense because it's Napoleon Total War. But there was a lot of other things going on at the time, like 1812, which if you are wanting to play Napoleon but wish there was more factions or something along those lines, that you won't ever be able to get a bigger map. But there's mods like NTW3 where there's more factions, unit detail, and again has a pretty big multiplayer base to it. All right, next one is Rome 2, which I'm gonna put at A tier. And the reason I put it at A tier is it's got good graphics, fun campaigns. It's easy to play, so by like it's kind of a little bit similar to Attila, a little bit, except it's not as punishing as Attila is in terms of the campaigns. Um, my only issue though with it is it's not my favorite time period, and the AI. There are some AI struggles, which most Total War games do have AI issues. Um, I will say there's also quite a few exploits in Rome 2, and I think even with like maybe Attila, and I don't really like a game that you can exploit to make it easier to play. Of course, I'm not gonna like be that person who'd be like, "Oh, you shouldn't exploit." If someone does, because it's just not really my place to be like what you can or can't do. It's your game to play. Um, but yeah, Rome. I think this is either Rome One or Rome Remastered. Either way, I've played both Rome One and Rome Remastered, and the way I see Rome One and Rome Remastered, I put it in D tier next to Medieval Two. Is I basically see it no different to Medieval Two, other than the different time periods. One is medieval, one is Rome, but the quality is about the same. The simplistic mechanics are closely the same. There's just not, in my opinion, a lot going for it. So next one is Shogun 2. I'm gonna put this one also in S tier because it's like with Empire. I'm gonna say Empire is like my third favorite Total War. Um, but Shogun 2 is definitely my second next to Napoleon, and it's because it's also one of my favorite time periods. Um, the campaign is fun, the graphic quality is great. Um, so it's one of and I didn't mention this in Rome or Attila, but I will now. So in Rome, Attila, and Shogun 2, they got like blood graphics and stuff like that, and that's something like I'm a really big fan of. Where Napoleon lacks that, Empire lacks that, Medieval 2, Rome 1, they all lack that aspect. Um, I'm not a big fan of the smaller campaign map. I will say that because like there's just not like a lot. The campaign's fun, but it lacks a lot of I don't know because I just like a bigger campaign, and there are a few mods out there that make a bigger campaign, which it like involves Korea and China, stuff like that. My next one I put in F tier is Three Kingdoms, and yes, I have played this Total War, and I just can't get into it. Like it's the only Total War I have, and I have quite a few Total Wars that I regret buying. And no matter how much I try to like play it, I just can't get into it. I'm not a fan of heroes being able to do a lot of damage. I'm not. it flies very close to kind of like a Warhammer style gameplay, and I'm not a big fan of. I only have Warhammer 3, so that's and this tier list doesn't have Warhammer 3 as an option, so it just has Warhammer 1 and 2, which I've been told are very close, and I'm not a big fan of Warhammer 3. And Three Kingdoms kind of gives me that vibe, but it's supposed to have some kind of historical twist to it. But I can't, no, for the life of me, get into Three Kingdoms. And the last one, Thrones of Britannia, which I'm going to put in D tier. And some of you are going to be like, how could you put Thrones of Britannia in D tier and not F tier? And unlike Three Kingdoms, I could play Thrones of Britannia a lot more than Three Kingdoms. It's not a total where I regret buying. However, it's not a very popular one in terms of multiplayer, in terms of videos that you'll find on it. It's very, like a lot of my friends will say, it's a very unfinished game, and I would agree with that. But like there's things in the campaign that confuse me in terms of the estate and the politics. But again, I'm gonna put it at D tier. And so this is my Total War tier list. If you agree or disagree, leave in the comments. We're all gonna agree or disagree on something. This is just based off my opinion on what I like about these Total Wars or dislike about these Total Wars. And I'll see you guys in the next video.